everyone, and welcome to Brick Break. I'm Ayleen.
I'm Andrew.
Andrew, welcome.
Hello!
You're kind of the first, official guest.
I guess that's a big
Brick
deal.
Break. It's
Good
kind of a
times.
big deal.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for doing that.
Thank you for having me on your awesome couch.
Alright, so we are here on Brick Break, which, as you know, is our Lego brick focused show. And what I'm really excited about having Andrew here for is because Brick Break... The intention of Brick Break is to be a lot more than just opening Lego sets, because as awesome as that is, and exploring all the parts that Lego provides us, there's so much more in the world of Lego, such as AFOLs and building and cons and this whole amazing world that exists. It's sort of like a subculture.
It goes deep.
It goes
deep.
It goes deep.
It's a weird world.
And you're one of them.
I am a weirdo.
I was trying to say it nicely. But
Yeah. No, it's definitely weird. It's once you kind of get a little bit in, it just the world opens up and you're like, wow, there's thousands of people that do this.
How did I not know this was happening?
Yeah. The internet's rad. I guess that's the moral of the story.
You know what's rad on the internet?
What's that?
There's this show called Bricks and Beer.
Oh, is there? Would you like a beer?
Well, I actually brought my own
we
beer.
have root beer. So this will be Bricks and Root Beer episode whatever.
I can't steal your whole thing. Yeah, what is it, something 0.5?
I'm sure. There's no plan.
We don't need a plan.
Yeah.
Overrated. Alright, so I didn't want to steal your whole shtick, so I have a soda.
Oh,
Is
no,
that okay?
it's all good.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, internet.
What are you drinking today, Andrew?
This is actually one of my favorite beers. It's Allagash White. It's brewed with spices. I don't know what the spices are, but apparently they're spices. It's like a Belgian beer. It's good. They have it at all the bars by my house, so I tend to drink it. And yeah, fuck yeah. Beer and Lego. It's like a winning combination.
You even have a shirt about that.
I do. I guess I should shout that dude out. Brickster Tees. He's a cool dude. He sells his shirts on Tea Republic, I think. But he's super cool, and he actually made that shirt, and it said, all I want to do is drink coffee, and then had the Lego brick.
Oh, I didn't see that shirt.
And I commented on it, and I was like, if you change the word coffee to beer, I would buy this in a heartbeat. And then he changed it.
Bam,
and I was like, fuck, now I have to buy this shirt. And that guy's really cool, so he's doing good work. So
nice.
Fucking shout out to you, Brickster Tees. I don't know what the guy's actual name is. I think it's Vlad. I'm sorry if I'm fucking up your name, Vlad.
I'm sure the information is available.
Somewhere on the internet. Just look it up. Lego t-shirts. He's on Tea Republic. I'm pretty sure that's why I buy his shit from.
Link in the show notes. Alright, so in case that wasn't clear, Bricks and Beer is actually Andrew's show. Which you've been going strong for, well, as of this filming, I think 14 episodes?
Yeah, I'm 14 deep, which is quite an accomplishment, because I'm amazed it's happened at all.
7 is the tipping point that most people say if you make it past 7.
Really?
You're gonna keep going.
Nice.
It's called pod fade.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens when you hang out with industry professionals. I just sit on my living room and click a button and record some bullshit.
Raw and uncut.
Yeah, authentic. So it's cool. I mean, I guess I just bullshit about the crap I build out of Lego and drink some beer. So if you guys are interested, check it out.
Absolutely. You should go check it out right now. Online, YouTube, subscribe.
Do all the stuff. Or not. Just click over there and be like, I don't want to listen to this fucking guy. And then click back. And watch your favorite toy show, Toy Break and Brick Break and all that.
All the breaks.
Yeah, all the breaks. Everything break.
We're just toy nerds.
Definitely.
Alright, so the reason you're here is to talk about Lego, and the reason you're here right now is because we actually just got back from BrickCon.
Yeah, it's full con season. BrickCon 2015, fucking rad. Shout out to all the people who went and all the people who fucking paid and got the fire alarm pulled on them and left and then came back. I was fortunate enough to miss that. I was, I think, in a bar at that time.
I was eating donuts.
There you go. See, that's distilling Andrew and Ayleen down to our essences.
Hey! What does that mean?
I don't know. Beer and donuts. But yeah,
that's our next show, guys. Don't worry about it.
Fucking BrickCon's awesome. October, it's always the first weekend in October in Seattle. Seattle's fucking amazing town. It's
in the Seattle Center.
In the Seattle Center. Right by the Space Needle. So literally, if you get lost, you just look up in the sky and you have a giant beacon to guide you home.
Sounds like you've had to do that before.
Maybe once or twice. And yeah, BrickCon's fucking rad. It was the first Lego convention I ever went to. I like slept in a hotel room with 3 dudes I met on the internet, which is weird, but it was rad because
So
they're
the same as every year.
yeah, well, yeah, but like now I know them and have met them in real life and know that they're
Fair
not
enough.
going to murder me. So
Well, you
it's
suspect.
a little better. It's a little better.
All right, but what people may not know, and I've kind of talked about it a little bit before when I did our Bricks LA coverage on Brick Break, is that when you go to LegoCon, there's basically 2 conventions running at the same time.
Yeah, totally.
And thousands of people are blissfully unaware that this other convention is sort of happening. So there's like the attendees, the regular public attendees that come in, you know, families and kids, and everybody can come in and check out the Lego models and build with the play brick and like buy stuff from vendors, and it's awesome.
And everything is like set up,
Yeah.
ready to
It's like
go.
magic. Ooh.
Yeah, you just walk in and you're like, wow. Which is probably why you get all the like terrible public questions of like, how long did it take you to build this? And how did this happen? Because they didn't get the 2 days of the like inner circle, full blood, sweat, and tears set up, all this shit that you
Did it
flew
break and
in.
transport?
Yeah, and like, there's plenty of stories of like all the nonsense that happens in that sort of like private part of the convention, I guess.
Which is the other part of the convention. So AFOLs, adult fans of Lego, can sign up to be. It's weird. There's not really a name for what
I
we
think
are.
they call it just like a builder. They're like builder
Okay.
registration versus like
Oh yeah, builder. That's right.
yeah. And that's really like the critical difference. But there's plenty of people that show up that are AFOLs, adult fans of Lego, who don't actually build anything or bring anything to build, but they want to be in on that like
Yeah.
magical community part
The
of it.
activities
Yeah,
and
and the
stuff.
activities and the games and the after hours stuff.
So
and
when
like,
you're in that part of it, so you pay a registration fee. You know, it's usually between like $50 and $100 somewhere.
yeah, it depends on
Depending on the
how
con.
early you get in and
Exactly.
all that. So
So that gives you the ability to display your creations for the public, which also enters them into competition for voting and best of categories and all that stuff. But you also get to participate in the activities like games and like
Yeah.
crazy build stuff, team builds, speed builds,
they're
line builds.
it's always like changing too.
Yeah.
It's always like this year like we watched the speed build happen and they fucked with them so bad.
Why? What happened? I missed
so
that.
the box was the
the
A-wing
team speed.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
team speed build. It was like the A-wing base and they fucking open the box and I've done it a bunch of times and like it's a race. It's a race. You have to build the set, you do it with a bunch of people. In theory, you like strategize and everybody builds different parts and then you all smash
Pages
it
are ripped.
together.
You're doing
and-
these pages. You're doing these.
and it's like this big deal, right? They open the box, fucking a bunch of Ziploc bags fall out with like, not the parts for the fucking box that's on the set. So it's like they made it like 10 times harder, and there was something like fucking 6 sets in there or
I think
something.
there was like 3 builds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did like really tricky things. There was like 2 different primarily lime colored sets.
Oh, that's messed
And
up.
all the parts are mixed in. So you got to be able to like go, okay, the Lime Technic set or whatever is different than the Lime Creator set.
You kind of need somebody like sorting.
Yeah.
Just sorting.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's messed up.
So, I mean, it's like if you're a fellow Lego dork and like that kind of shit, that's pretty rad.
But also, if you're interested in those kind of things, like don't be afraid to go to your first con, because most of the people are very, very welcoming.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think it's
yeah.
like Lego cons are super chill. Everybody involved, all the builders, some of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a weird thing for me because like I had the internet when I was in high school and all of that, but like I didn't know there was other people that
Right.
did what I did, and then like as I graduated and I moved to LA, and you find out like, oh shit, there's this whole world of people who do this, and then you go to those cons and you're like, not only do I like respect your art and like what you do and what you build and the technical proficiency, but then all these people are really cool. So.
Yeah.
My first con was in 2007, so fucking 8 years ago now.
Wow.
And I've known these like dudes who I consider like super close friends. I've met all kinds of crazy people through the convention scene. So like go.
That's
Like
awesome.
I will implore you, if you're at all into Lego, just fucking go. Hang out. Like you don't have to like do everything. You don't have
No,
to
not
stay
at all.
for like the full 3-4 day like complete deep commitment. Just
But try
go.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you just go as like a public day thing and you just get inspired and you see other people's shit, like that's really cool.
It's also a good way to meet some of the builders if you're uncomfortable going to the private section first.
Yes and no. So
No?
I will say this as
Yeah, I think I know what you're gonna
as
say.
an A full veteran, public day is kind of miserable. Like, it's a billion people, and it's hot, and it's loud, and you get the same, like, seven
No offense
questions
if
over
you guys
again.
have ever asked this question, but you get a lot of the
Oh,
dumb
you
questions.
get the same questions, which are like, how do you buy all this Lego?
How many
And
bricks does it?
how long did this take you? And nobody told you how to do this? Like, there's so you
Is
get
this for sale?
yeah, you get a lot of people who just don't get it, and they want to get it, and they're curious about it,
Yeah.
whether it's a weird, morbid curiosity like hoarders, or it's like a genuine artistic interest. It kind of waffles between. So public day, like me and the homies, we peace out. Like
Right.
everything is set up. There's, for the most part, like security, and it will keep children from running through whatever you're built. So if
But there are a lot of people behind the tables.
yeah, if you come to public day, there's always somebody behind the table that will always answer questions, but it may not be like the specific individuals who built X.
Right.
But like, you still should go. And if you're at all a builder, you should definitely go to like the private part, because that's really like the best part of Lego conventions for me is the community and the
I
people.
still have my bags, by the way. My BrickCon bags.
These
Keep
were
talking.
awesome.
We can go
These
through
were
this,
awesome.
'cause I haven't really gone through them.
So yeah, so if you go, they gave us fucking excellent swag this year too. And there's just, it's
Stuff.
cool. You meet people and you sort of develop these relationships. So like,
Star
this
Wars.
is a pretty good set.
Yeah,
Little
right?
battle pack if you're into Mandalorians. What else we got? We got a polybag.
Yeah.
I think I bought this polybag at one point. It has a jet, vaguely a jet.
Oh, here.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have more conventions coming up. And then this bag is full of... So we got, like, random extra bags.
Which this,
Okay.
as a builder, as an April, this is so fucking awesome, because like this bag, okay, here's a perfect example. Like, so, and these were all randomized, so we all didn't get the same. But like, if you're a Technic dude and there's a bag of 3-length blue pins here, and there's probably fucking 40 pins in here, this has to be some really complicated, crazy Technic set.
I'm sure it's a crane or something.
These are rad. I've never seen these. I'm geeking out on the internet. Look
We
at
can
this!
open
Look at
it.
this fucking awesome Lego
You
part.
can open it.
I guess I'm probably making your audio like terrible right now. Anyway, so.
I think everybody knows what the sound of a Lego bag is.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued by these panel parts. They're shorter than the normal panel parts that I've seen before.
Those are kind of cool.
So this is cool, because like you wouldn't get these in, say a poly bag or a small $10 set that they would normally give you. So it's like I feel like BrickCon really understands the builders, yeah, like the private base of like, this is what you guys value, this is what you guys want out of the convention.
Here it is.
And the public side, while I understand it's necessary and you have to open it up, and it's really cool. Like, if I had been a kid and I had gone to a Lego convention, I might be even weirder than I am now.
Impossible.
Probably. So yeah, BrickCon. BrickCon's rad.
But as you can see, this is like, there's a 1 day schedule, there's another, like, there's activities the whole time. So many things. There's like a dirty brickster, which is like, what is that thing called?
It's like a white elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some cool shit that comes out of there sometimes, and there's some hilarious stuff that comes out of there
So
sometimes.
even if you don't think like, oh, I'm not the fastest builder, I can't possibly build in the speed build. Yeah, you totally can. Number one.
Well,
Like, go have fun.
And like,
But that's okay.
yeah, the whole thing is like, so there is some competition involved. Like, there's competitive games and there's trophies and like all this shit, but like, don't go to BrickCon thinking that like you have to be at that like level, like that tier. Like, I gotta show up, I gotta win a trophy, I gotta fucking like
We can't
do
all
all
be
this
Andrews.
stuff. There's been a couple years I haven't won a trophy. I think one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Weird, right?
Super weird. You totally slacked 1 year.
Yeah. Well, technically it's 2 years, but I won like an unofficial trophy, which
Nice.
is equally as meaningful to me.
Now, BrickCon's also cool because they have some after hours. So if you're interested in hanging out with builders after hours, there are some like pre-designated areas that you can kind of people gather, which is really nice.
Yeah. Well, and like what made it for me was like I went into this as a adult-ish kid, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with a bunch of weirdos from the internet. This could be terrible because these people could be what you imagine them to be. And then I showed up, and like literally within 10 minutes, we walked to like another dude's hotel room, and we were all drinking beer, and I was like, I've looked at your shit on the internet for years. And they were like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, and you're normal. Like, you're a cool person. That's a big deal. So yeah, I mean, I always encourage people just to like go just for that, like
Yeah.
that sole validation of like the art is not something that needs to be ostracized. Like, yes, we play with children's toys and we're weird, but like it's cool.
Yeah, it's
cool.
just fun
and
to
there's
hang out.
fellow weirdos. Like,
Just super good people to like hang with, and also wide variety of ages.
yeah, definitely.
Like you don't have to be
Definitely.
like, oh, I can't go. I'm not in my 20s or something. Like that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, there were a lot of younger people this year. I felt a little old.
Oh, I felt old because I hung out. And, like, if Zach was giving me shit, 'cause I'm like, oh, there's all these fucking kids. And he's like, you know they're, like, 25-year-old men, right? And I'm like, yeah, but they're kids. And they're bringing, like, the new hotness. I'm like, oh, god damn it. Like, I don't know. So, the Lego scene to me is really crazy because you have two things that are happening all the time that never stop, which is the palette is continuously evolving.
Yes.
So, like, the paint that you have to paint with is always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, no matter what, you can never, like, get comfortable
Right.
in a way. Like, you always have to be able to, like, bring new parts in and, like, it's like there's new tricks that are available to you, new tools and, like, all this shit.
Suddenly there's Friends colors.
Yeah. Or, like,
Whatever.
fucking all kinds of shit. Like, just every fucking, like, 3 months, there's, like, some new part that comes out. Then I'm like, I could use that fucking 6 years ago. So there's that. And then there's also the community and the fan base.
Yeah.
And people are, like, always coming into the hobby and you're meeting new people and they're, like, bringing new perspectives and new influences and they have, like, a different perception of things than you.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's, like, this continuously evolving hobby. And so it's never, like, not to, like, hate on other hobbies, but, like,
You're totally hating.
if you're into something and that something is done, like, they're never gonna make any more of that.
Right.
That's it. That's all you got. And, like, you can get new people that are maybe into this weird niche thing, but like,
it's not evolving.
yeah, it's not evolving. Whereas, like, even if I didn't build anything, every BrickCon you go to is gonna be different because there's different builds by different people, and maybe some of it's the same people building new shit, but it's this, like, crazy, like, continuously evolving thing. So it's exciting, and I feel like that's where the convention thing is cool because you're not just, like, seeing it happen from afar. You're actually, like,
In it.
getting to talk to the people and in
Yeah.
it. And I always have these, like, crazy, like, 2 a.m. conversations with, like, just random dudes. And I'm like, oh, man, like, you built this. And then we just start going deep. And then you, like, look at the build later and you're like, oh, man, I get more of it now. Like, I have a
Right.
deeper appreciation. So that's cool.
Which kind of leads into something you're very familiar with, collaborations. Because you meet people at cons and you find new builders and you find new friends and then you're like, dude, that technique's awesome. Like, I could do this with that. And then, like, all of a sudden you're building Space Nom.
Yeah. Or, like, I mean, there's a bunch of different things that kind of, like, go with that. But I think the coolest thing about it is, like, you really get to, like, geek out with your friends and do something together and build something together that it's like the fucking Ninja Turtles. It's like you get to leverage everybody's strengths, right? So it's like you got Donatello, who's like the dorky, like, technical one. So I got Maro over here. Maro's like the Technic Motor Master. He's fucking, like, throwing down shit that I have no idea how it works at all. And then I've got, like, and there's all these different things of, like, different creative energies and different influences and people come together and then, like, ultimately you end up with this, like, giant table of shit and you're like, look at this thing that we built, and it's like your crew of homies and you're all fucking, like, hanging out, and it's great. It's like, it's sort of the collaborative building thing for me sort of distills the whole convention experience down into, like, one, like, physical thing. It's like a physical representation of that. Like, we all hang out, we all talk, we all fucking geek out on
Here's
each
what came of
other.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, like, here's this thing we built, and, like, granted, it's awesome and it's big and it's cool and, like, impressive and people like it, but it's like it goes, like, one step beyond that.
Right.
So-
Which you find out when you start doing the sort of inside part of the conventions.
Yeah, totally. And, like, I didn't even think that was, like, a thing. Like, I went to my first convention and literally Keith Goldman had a 8-foot by 16-foot table that he built with 2 other dudes called the Omicron Weekend. Go Google that if you want to look up awesome sci-fi shit.
I like that you're not making me do annotations.
That's a lot of work.
Dude, it's so much
Oh,
work.
it's pain in the dick. So anyway, like, fucking Keith Goldman showed up with this thing, and I immediately was like, holy fuck, like, how did you do this? And he's like, well, I brought this part, and Ryan brought this part, and Mike brought this part, and we all talked about it. And I'm like, I want what you have. Like, let me into the club.
Mind
Like,
blown.
yeah. And then immediately, like, right after that, it was like, that just fucking, like, kick-started, like, all of these things I've been involved in, whether I'm driving it, or I'm just participating in it, or fucking people are, like, bringing you in. It's, like, all this shit that, like...
It's part of what you enjoy.
Yeah,
of the hobby.
yeah. It's, like, the weird, like, blend of socializing, but painting and doing art and building and all of that. It, like, it merges into this, like, nice, warm bucket of feels. I don't
So bohemian of you.
I guess. Who knew it would take this turn?
But you brought some examples of things.
Oh yeah, I brought some tiny little sort of bullshit builds. I guess we can put them on the table.
Let's show
and
'em,
dork
why
around
not?
them.
I'll give you a piece here if you want.
These
Look at
were
that.
built for quote unquote Space Nom. We showed Space Nom at 3 conventions this year.
Oh, yeah, I always forgot about the third one.
Bricks LA
Ah.
back in May, coming up in January.
Yep.
These will not be there. We figure like the thing has seen a bunch so far this year, so
Yeah.
that'll probably be done. Actually, these will be here, but without the rest of Nom. And then we took it to Bricks by the Bay. Well, Morrow took it to
Oh,
Bricks
so
by
you
the
didn't go
Bay.
to the- okay.
No. If you're in the area, just down the street, go to Bricks by the Bay, I guess.
It's in San Jose.
Yeah. I think Fremont? Or is it San Jose now?
I think it's San Jose.
I haven't gone for a couple of years. And then we took it to BrickCon, and I built a big, dumb spaceship, and it had these guys in it. And these are little hard suits. It's sort of a... And this goes back to that whole, like, legacy, like, bro time thing. It's like, the original design for these, I built for a collaboration that I did with Ryan Wood and Friddle Gonzalez. And they were black versions of this. And then I needed something for Space Nom, so I was like, oh, I'll recycle this design. And then I made these, so they have little dudes in them. There's a cockpit that opens, so you can take
Awesome
the
little
dude
neck
out.
situations.
Yeah, so they're just like little fun little hard suits. There's some doors on the big ship that they can like sit in. And there's some variety of it, so I like to troop build things every once in a while, so yeah.
Anything with flamethrowers.
Yeah, you got the flamethrower dude. I like to call this guy the Freedom Unit, because he's got 2 doses of freedom and a Stars and Stripes helmet, because, you know, America. And yeah, I mean, like, so I guess if you guys are interested in this at all, there's instructions on the internet. You can go check out my Flickr.
And I like the way that you broke down the instructions for people on Flickr. So that's something that I think, even if you're not into going to cons yet, maybe you haven't done that, it's kind of a really cool thing that you may not know exists on the internet, is people break down how to build some of their things. Flickr is an amazing place
Yeah,
for sharing all this.
Flickr drives everything. And it's a weird thing with the Lego community, because most other fandoms, there's like one primary forum
Yeah.
that like everybody gravitates towards, and all the interaction is like closed loop system. Like it all happens
Right.
there. But the Lego scene, it's so kind of fragmented because people build different things and they have different interests, that there's multiple forums, and then everybody kind of image shares on Flickr.
Right.
And then the big one that I was part of, like, I don't know, 6 years ago, Classic Space, it's gone. It's
Yep.
done. Because everybody went to Flickr. And
Yep.
Flickr has groups, and there's some cool social groups there, but it's kind of a weird time right now, I guess, for the Lego internet scene, because like, I feel like somebody could come in right now and be like, this is the spot.
Everybody come here.
Everybody come here, and like, it
It
could
would.
happen. So somebody who's more industrious than me needs to make that happen.
All right.
But yeah, and
Andrew's predictions.
Andrew's making other people do work. So yeah, there's instructions, and my instructions, forewarned, are pretty shitty. They're like just photos of
Kind of a
breakdowns on my table. Like it's not like well done ML CAD instructions. There are instructions out there that are really
Yes,
well done.
Yes.
They're not mine. Mine are pretty crappy. But if you like
it's-
these guys and you kind of know Lego, you should be able to figure it out.
I was gonna say, it still breaks down like what you need and approximately sort of the order to
yeah,
kind of click
yeah.
it together.
And like, so the reason why I made breakdowns at all, because I don't make instructions, because the building process is super organic for me.
Yeah.
So there's no way to like pause and document it even. It's just like it just happens. But I was encouraging other people to build versions of these. So it was like
For the collaboration.
yeah, I gave enough data for like the homies to
Yeah.
be like, okay, I can figure this out from here.
Yeah.
And I tried to kind of take it like maybe one step further for like the average AFOL to be able to be like, oh yeah, cool, I can pick this up and like fuck around with it. So fucking go build some heart suits and shit.
But I think that's super cool because a lot of people don't know that even might exist on the internet.
Yeah. Well, and there's definitely like a culture of sharing. Like
Yeah.
I feel like let me ask for instructions for something that's like 5 feet by 5 feet that took you 5 years. That's a little much, but for the most part, like people are really cool about like
if you're like, I want to know how to build a cube, dude.
yeah, like here's the thing, like
Yeah.
here's and then like so one of my favorite experiences, and I'm gonna shout out a dude who is running this convention up in Canada, Lee Ward. Lee Ward's like a wizard, like straight up like a
He actually is a
real
wizard.
fucking actual wizard. And every convention I've ever gone to that he's been at, he kind of like at some point walks up to you and he goes like, "Hey Andrew, look at this, look at this," and inside his hands is some like mind-breaking fucking technique where you're like, oh shit, man, like fuck yeah. And like that very much happens all the time, I feel like, within our community, where people are like, new part comes out, instantly people are like, here's this, I built this, I did this, and like it kind of drives everything forward. Like I feel like there's never any time to like sort of
Pause.
like well, not necessarily like pause, but just like whether you pause or not, like it's just gonna keep rolling.
Going, yeah.
It's just gonna go, which is rad. And like the hanging out with people, I think is sort of an integral part of that. Which, if you had asked me like years ago, like, oh, this whole Lego thing, it would have been like, oh, well, it's all self-contained. Like it's just what I do, and I get these parts, and I buy these toys, and I sit in my living room, and I just like do this thing.
Like all AFOLs at some point were like, I'm the only one who does this.
Oh
still.
yeah, oh yeah.
Like.
And like so the you're not alone thing is rad, but then it's also the like information sharing, and like it's this living, breathing community of people that are for the most part really cool.
Yeah.
There are some less than cool people, but they're rare. They're pretty rare.
Most
and
everybody's
like,
rad.
all fucking dorky subcultures. Like you're watching us on the internet, you're clearly part of a dorky subculture. If you're watching this show, like.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah. Thumbs up. Yeah, so I don't know. Like conventions are cool. Like
They're cool.
go to conventions. And there's conventions fucking everywhere. It seems like. Like nowadays,
I feel like every
it seems
2
like
weeks.
yeah, it's like there's always new shit. Like which is so awesome because I feel like there's some kid somewhere who's like 15 who's like, fuck, like nobody I know does this, and then he can like walk into this room of like 100 people, and it's like that watershed moment of like, you can do you, like fucking go for it, like I don't know,
Change
it's
that
cool.
kid's life.
Yeah.
Lego. So speaking of conventions that people can go to, we just wrapped up BrickCon, which, like you said, is every October, the first weekend. But we've got BricksLA coming up in January 8th, 9th, and 10th. You can go to bricksla.com for more info on that. That's in Pasadena. And you're actually a coordinator for that one.
Yeah, I'm responsible.
What's up with that?
It's weird. It's community spirit. I guess this is the community spirit episode of your show, which is odd because it's
Go
me
team.
and I'm not the go team guy. But
I think
yeah,
you kind of are the go
fucking
team guy now.
go team. I'm the space coordinator, which no offense to anybody else, but like it's the best theme. It's definitely the best theme.
So you're saying you want some more space?
Yeah, like
For space.
bring some spaceships and some mecha and some fucking sci-fi shit and whatever. Like
See, now, are you going to fight Brandon for screen scenes over, like, sci-fi stuff?
depends on what it is.
Okay.
There's one that might be up in the air as to where
We
it
can
goes.
put it in between,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
We'll just let it bleed into both sections.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like there are things that sort of are weird that like don't necessarily belong to any theme that can like be pigeonholed.
It's true. It's so hard to, as a coordinator or as, a con runner, like, the themes are so, you don't want them to be limiting, but you have to put everything somewhere.
Yeah.
So, like, do you have more themes that breaks everything up, or do you have less themes, so it's kind of like free-for-all in each theme?
Wow.
It's kind of a weird decision.
And it is weird because like people are very much like sort of programmed to categorize things for easy parsing, like to be able just to be like, oh, this is a robot, and that's a castle, and that's
and
a whatever.
Especially Lego, like we have Lego themes.
Yeah,
that exist.
so there's this weird like legacy official theme thing which drives a bunch of stuff, but there are things that are out there, and there are people who are out there who are just like, fuck it, I just build what I build, and then they show up to a convention, and you're like, everybody's like, your shit's awesome. We don't know where to put it. We're just gonna give it its own thing.
Here.
So like, and that's kind of happened organically with like some of the themes. So like, screen scenes is a perfect example. So like, movie-based builds, they would kind of get shuffled around because it's like, oh, you built something from the Matrix. I guess it's space. You built something
Specifically minifig scale.
Yeah.
Because Bricks of Character covers anything not minifig scale.
Exactly. And Bricks of Character also, like, was driven from, like, there's no place to put the cube dudes and, like, all these cool, like, character sculpture things that people are building. So dudes just step up to the plate and they're like, hey, just build it here. Like, we have a spot for you. So, yeah, I guess,
I love it.
you know, it's, like, cool. And if you're going to build something for space and you have any questions, I guess you can ask me. I'll try to answer them.
Ooh.
I know, it's weird. I'm, like, being responsible.
Seriously. Are you feeling okay? Do I need to take you to the hospital?
It might be kind of warm in here. It's also, if I'm looking around like I'm a crazy person, it's because Ayleen has like an amazing studio full of toys, and there's like just things to get lost in everywhere. So yeah, fucking Bricks LA's coming. It's gonna be rad. Space was awesome last year. Hopefully,
it's gonna be even better this year.
Yeah.
Or 2016.
There's some cool shit coming up. Obviously, I'll be there. I'll bring some shit. Answering questions. That is like the one time that like if you show up during public day, I most likely will be there because I have to.
I feel like honored that it's like my convention. You're all like involved in.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. But speaking of awesome conventions, something else awesome is happening not long after that, and I say it's awesome because it's on my birthday, and that's exciting.
Fuck yeah.
BrickCon. It's Vancouver's first Lego convention.
It is, and it's in a casino. It's in a 24-hour casino, and Lee Ward and all these like awesome John, all these like rad Canadians that we know are running this. So it's good people. Like I think that's the critical thing. It's like the people make the convention. It's great to have a ton of builds and like all kinds of cool stuff, but like really for me it's the people, and I have so much faith in this because I know all these people that are involved in this, and they're all fucking awesome. So
I'm kind of excited about it.
I'm trying to rearrange my life to make it work.
But it's my birthday.
Maybe
Does that help?
Maybe you'll have a birthday present. Maybe I'll grace BrickCon with my presents.
Wait, that's my birthday present? Wait a minute.
I'll just show up and be like, "Hey, happy birthday! I'm in Canada." Yeah. So BrickCon's coming up, and so we're obviously talking up BrickCon a lot, the one in Seattle,
well, we just got home from that.
Been around forever. Like I've gone. This year was my 6th year going.
Wow.
Yeah, now I'm old. But like these Canadian dudes all go to BrickCon, and they've based their convention off of like the best aspects of BrickCon. Right. So I think that they really get it. They're not trying to do anything different. They're just like, we just want to have it here, and we want to have our own, and it'll be our own thing.
It's
and
an
like
extra thing. It's not. I don't feel like most cons are in competition with each other.
No. Well, I think there's. It's a big country, obviously. So there's a lot of different conventions across the country, and for the most part, they're all very much like based on the same like ideology of like it's all about the builders. We show to the public because the public wants to see it, and that's the way we can like actually afford to do this.
Exactly.
Critical part, I get it.
It also sort of elevates Lego as an art form.
Yeah, totally. And like it's nice when you get some sort of like press coverage of like, oh, cool, like people do this. And I feel like my convention going experience, as much as we're like, oh, Lego conventions, is super limited. I've only been to 3. All of which are on the West Coast. So I've never done like the Brick World or the Brick Fair or the Brick Fiesta or all the other Brick conventions. Yeah, like the Brick Cascade. There's countless Lego conventions. But all of mine have been like very much community based and very much like builder first kind of, which I think is the way to go, because for me being like, I'm going to spend all this money and I'm going to travel and I'm going to haul these dumb Lego things I build, like through airplanes and across the country and shit, like you want it to be about you, not necessarily about you, but like about the builders, about your fellow A-Fulls. And I feel like all of the ones that I've gone to have very much like had that in spirit, which is cool because that's what it's all about.
And it's also good to have, by the way, if you want to know more about his hauling of his Lego around the country, you should watch Bricks and Beer.
I do tell a dumb story about a spaceship and whatnot. Yeah, so it's like, there's challenges.
But that's the cool thing about having so many conventions, because let's say you live, closer to one, you can take a bigger piece that you've built to that one, and then maybe take small pieces to other ones that are easy to fit on the plane.
Yeah. Or you could be a crazy person and drive.
Or you could be a crazy
fucking 12 hours with a van full of Lego somewhere. Which, if you're that person, shout out to you.
Dude.
Because that's fucking rad. I made one, like, hardcore... Well, I guess 2 Lego road trips. But one was, like, hardcore in a van that was, like, stuffed full of Lego.
Wait, where were you going?
Bricks by the Bay. It was the second Bricks by the Bay. We took Brian Hines, like...
Wait a minute, was this the van that we took to lunch that one day?
Yes. So
man.
it's like an ex-church group van that is, like, primer colored. Like, I think he literally spray painted primer. So the Lego crew I was rolling around with at the time was Ronin lug. So we fucking, like, put black electrical tape with, like, giant Ronin lug on the side of it and shit. It was rad. But it's also one of those things where you're like, if we get on a wreck in the 5, like, I'm just gonna die drowning in Lego.
Yep.
Which I guess is fitting.
Quite appropriate.
Yeah. Wow, this got dark. What happened?
Yeah, jeez.
Wow, way to bring it down.
Don't drive to Lego cons. No, seriously though, it's great that there's so many options in cons and ability to bring so many different, like, size mocks and, like, different, you have options, is
and
what I'm saying. Don't let the distance be your prohibitive.
And don't feel like you even have to, like, necessarily bring anything. Like, the first convention I went to,
Abner.
I brought one little carry-on, and I had, like, one little moon base module, and, like, one mech, and, like, one tiny little spaceship. And I showed up, and there were all these, like, 4-foot-tall monsters, and, like, giant robots and all this shit, and I was like, here's my little mock. And all the people, like, the cool thing about, at least for the most part, like, the majority of the A-Full community, is you can recognize skill and talent across all of the builds.
Right.
So, like, the public, the people who, like, are sort of just, like, a casual consumer, obviously they're drawn to, like, the big, giant monster things that have, like, blinking lights and moving shit and, like, oh, this really cool crowd-pleasing stuff. But, like, I literally went to my first convention and I brought this little tank thing, and, like, Keith Goldman was like, that's fucking rad. And I was like, yes.
You noticed me.
Well, and then it's like, so it's like it all inspires you to bring all this big shit, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Like, there are plenty of people who show up.
Just bring your stuff.
Nick, the master of the minimal builds.
Nick's Bricks.
He's giant on IG. Go fucking look up Lego on Instagram. He probably just, like, is the first one. But he builds, like, really cool minimalist shit, and, like, he doesn't have to bring a fucking giant, like, moving van full of stuff for, like, us to be like, oh man, like, I totally appreciate amazing. What you build, and it's amazing and it's cool.
And he came out of, like, nowhere. Like, Bricks LA was his first convention, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And which is super impressive.
People loved it. Like, his builds, not even just with builders, but also the attendees, I heard, like, went nuts over it.
Well, and that's like the Instagram thing. It's like, obviously there's a lot of people who are not, like, full-blown hardcore A-Fulls.
Yeah.
But they can totally appreciate what he does. But then people like me who are fucking hardcore, full-blown A-Full are like, I also appreciate that. Yeah. So it's cool. It's like, there's sort of like a place for everybody, I feel like. Like, you can be super casual, you can be really heavy into the scene, and you can be anywhere in between, and you can kind of show up and everybody's like, fucking welcome aboard.
I have a question for you.
Uh-oh. I'm worried now. I better open another beer.
Gosh, it's not going to be that bad. All right, here's my question.
Go
Andrew,
for it. Go for
Space coordinator. Have you ever built anything that's not space?
Yeah.
Not like just built, but like displayed at a con.
At a con. Yes. Brick's character, I've thrown down in a couple of times.
Really?
Micro scale. Actually, the first con I went to, I won a trophy for a micro scale. Granted, it was a micro scale spaceship, but it was still in
All
the
right,
micro scale
that's-
category.
I'm giving
So
you
it's
a
a little
gray area on
blurred
that
line
one.
there.
That's a point. That's an episode 0.5.
I built a castle, which was in the
A
Lego
space castle?
store. No, it was like straight up like a black Halloween castle.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was in the Glendale store for
Yeah.
like a month or so.
I actually really liked that, and then I saw that you did it, and I was like, oh, Andrew made that. That's really weird.
I had a thing going for Halloween
I had
for
no
3
idea
years
that
in
you
a
had
row.
made that.
3 years in a row, I built like a black haunted house type thing. It was really inspired by BrickCon. So like the whole convention thing also, like the other thing with it is like, so let's say you're into X, and X fits very nicely in this box.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, I build robots. That's my thing. I build robots. I put my robots in the robot section. I hang out with the robot dudes. That's all I do. But then you walk around this convention and you see all this stuff and you're like, fuck, that's amazing. So I think it was my first or second BrickCon. I saw this dude that built these castles on the old school raised base plates.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I need to do this. Like, I have one of these base plates. It's mind-blowing. It's awesome. I've never even thought about building a castle before. And I built this castle. And it was, a sizable little castle.
Yeah.
And it was cool. So I feel like there's a lot of inspiration that comes out of going to these things
Definitely.
that are totally non-related to like the shit that you're just like constantly receiving, which is cool because you're getting exposure to all these other things that like you would have no idea about. So yeah, castle. I built a zombie apocalypse thing way back in the day.
Oh, was that at the BrickCon for the
Yeah.
for the big, okay.
What else?
I'm impressed. I guess in my head I was like, Andrew's never left the space section.
It would not be weird if I did not. I mean, well, physically, I don't really leave the space
Well, of course
section.
not.
Like that's where the homies are. So I'm usually with like the 5 dudes behind whatever the bullshit space dio that we've built is, like hiding from the public. But yeah, I mean, like it's cool because it drives more than just like what you're into.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotta say, this BrickCon, every con I leave, I'm like, oh man, like, gotta build more. But like this particular one, I was like, I have so many freaking ideas.
oh,
Like plane ride home, you're just like, I gotta do this, and I gotta do this, and I gotta build this, and I gotta order this, and
I kind of feel like some anxiety about like I have so much shit that just needs to get out of my head, like into the ABS. So I'm like, fuck, like just make it happen. Like, and it's all good shit. Like every con I've come home from, there's like a weird thing where like you spend all this energy. You're like, fuck, like I gotta build last minute, like
it's all very
cram,
like solo.
pack, like fucking get everything ready, go. Blackout 4 days of like no sleep, hardcore Lego party action,
Yeah, they don't know
bro
about that
time,
part.
like fucking just go crazy. You come home, you're fucking literally exhausted. You go to work Monday and you're like, I think I'm gonna die. And then you have like the con slump, which is like you brought all this shit that has now been seen at a convention or whatever, and you gotta sort and you gotta deal with the aftermath, and you're like, fuck. Like, so there's traditionally like that con slump. So I get like a week of that, and then like I take care of the shit I need to, and then it's just like, it's on. Like,
It
you
kicks
just,
in.
like, it's like, fuck, I need to do this now. And it seems like every year it gets like shorter. Like that con slump sort of becomes like more manageable for me,
Yeah.
where I'm just like, I have more ideas
Ready to
now, I
go.
have more inspiration, like I just need to like make the time.
So
Like,
is there enough time between BrickCon and Bricks LA for you?
it's tight.
Yeah.
It's tight. Actually, so we should throw out another show, which is not solely Lego based, but that's Designer Con,
I've heard of that one.
which is coming up in November, which
It is November 21st and 22nd.
sooner than Bricks LA.
Also at the Pasadena Convention Center.
Yeah. It's a good time if you're into vinyl toys or like indie toy scene at all. You should go to that. There is a display called Comic Bricks that the homie Brandon puts on.
Done by Studs.
Yeah. Shout out to you, B-. And, so Comic Bricks, if you guys don't know, is you take a comic book cover and you build it out of Lego. And the cool thing is, for the most part, people display the actual comic next
I
to
really love this.
the comic bricks.
Like, I love participating in this one.
Yeah, it's really cool because like I'm a fan of both comic books and obviously Lego, so it's like the perfect storm for me. So I got to build something for that. So that's like the
Yeah.
first thing on the list. And as cool as it is to build for that, that wasn't one of the things that like
Popped into your head.
came up as a result of BrickCon. That's just something I have to do, kind of like, and like what I'm building is rad, but like I'm building it, and I'm already like my heart is already kind of moved on to the next big thing. So like there's Bricks LA, and then Brick Kids in April. So it's just my life is like Lego all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I drive everybody in my life wild about it. So. It's good times. It's good times.
You know what I really like about the comic bricks is that it's a very like confined sort of build because there's like specifications. You're supposed to make it the size of the comic book ish.
Yeah, ideally, like you look at the comic book and you look at the comic bricks, and maybe the comic bricks is more 3D, but they look the same. Like that's the goal, right? It's like to replicate
In whatever your style is.
Yeah, and so it's like some people. And that's the other cool thing. Is like I kind of like seeing people build within constraints.
Yes.
Because everybody does it differently, and everybody
Yes.
builds differently, and everybody has like different skill sets and artistic interpretations and style and all of that. And you sort of like you get to see it within like a box almost. Like it's like here you go crazy. And then you watch the next person go crazy, and you can look at their craziness next to each other,
Yeah.
and you're like, man, I can like see you in it.
Exactly.
Like it's cool. It's cool for sure.
Exactly.
And also as like a comic book geek, like it's always interesting to me to see like what people pull from.
Oh yeah.
So like people go like old school Star Wars, or they go like fucking like weird new comics that I don't know
fair,
about.
Those were mostly for Star Wars days.
True. But like
Which, are you ever going to do that again?
maybe.
Question mark.
I
Star Wars Days is another,
Okay.
not a con, different event. It's actually at Legoland, California, in Carlsbad. So what happens is they have a whole weekend that's like Star Wars weekend, and they have all these events and like the 501st.
the 501st
walks
shows
around,
up, and there's
and it's crazy.
and like so I've done it a bunch of times, and every time it's been fun, but it seems like there's a lot of work involved. Like you have to get there
you?
really early. You have to set up really
dude, it wasn't like that this
early.
year.
See, I didn't go this year.
I know,
So
it
maybe
was
maybe it all
amazing this
changed.
year.
Maybe the year I went, everything fucking changed. So
I was actually kind of like, why isn't Andrew here? He would totally dig this.
yeah. The other thing is like Star Wars, man.
You're done? Until December 18th?
I'm not buying in on the hype yet.
Okay.
And there's the part of me that's like, fucking go.
Yeah, Star
Go.
Wars.
I went Friday. I didn't go Thursday at midnight, but I went to a Target Friday and looked at the chaos and was like, I've been here.
Turn around. Go
I've done
home.
this. I've done this. And then I picked up, they brought fucking Micro Machines back.
Yeah.
Micro Machines are back.
Yeah.
Because of Star Wars.
Did you see the destroyed TIE fighter in the Micro Machines?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it like, who fucking would have guessed? And so I'm like, oh man, Micro Machines. Oh man, Star Wars. But then I'm like, what if I buy fucking hundreds of dollars worth of toys and then I watch this movie and it's a fucking betrayal of everything that I
episode
love
1 all
dear?
over again.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've been through that. I don't know if I can go through it again. So
But BB-8.
I'm hesitantly optimistic.
Okay.
So Star Wars Days for me is hard because the last Star Wars Days I went to, I built Darth Maul, like this big, like big Darth Maul, and Darth Maul is my favorite character from Episode 1, and he really didn't have a character arc, and he was really a meaningless character, but he looked fucking badass, and he had a double-sided lightsaber, and I was like, cool. And that movie's terrible, and he died, and then like that was it.
There it is.
That's your whole Darth Maul arc. And then I watched the Gennady Tarkovsky Clone Wars, the dude that did Samurai Jack.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that season of Clone Wars, the animated Clone Wars, is really, really cool. And then I became so over Star Wars that I just like stopped. Like when they had that whole CGI Clone Wars show, and I was like, I'm just over it. I'm done. So I came to this realization at the last Star Wars Days that I went to, which was like, it's not my Star Wars anymore. Like I have like sort of aged out of it, and like there are all these kids who grow up, and like the prequels are their movies, and the Clone Wars is like their shit, and that's their jam. And so
Rebels
I
now.
built this big Darth Maul, and he had the robot legs, because in Clone Wars he comes back,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry guys if you watched the show from 4 years ago or whatever. Which, if you did, like, Darth Maul really didn't do anything. So, it's fine. Now he has robot legs. So I built this thing and I was like, man, I'm like building this for the kids, which is cool and like a very weird, mature thing of me to do. But it's not, I'm not like, fuck yeah.
Your heart
like,
wasn't like
yeah,
really
it wasn't like fully in it. So ever since then, I've just kind of been like, you know what, like I'm kind of letting Star Wars go. And I think I'm becoming like less of like an angry nerd rage dude as I become older. Because it's like,
I've seen it. I've known you for years. I think I've seen you become less angry.
Well, I used to like yell at people about like, you like shitty music or that movie's fucking terrible or whatever, and then you get older and you're like, I really don't give a fuck. Like, watch whatever you're gonna watch, and like, you're an 8-year-old. It's fine. Like, I don't need to tell you about why like Boba Fett is so much cooler than Cad
Bane.
Bane.
Okay.
I know one dude named Cad in real life who's a Lego dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Cad Roster? I'm sorry if I'm fucking up your name, Cad. He's super cool. And so I'm like, what happened? Like, which Cad is it? Which, like, that's the most hardcore name ever.
It's a hardcore name.
Yeah, it's rad. It's rad. So fucking shout out to you, Cad. Yeah, so Star Wars is weird. So I don't know if I'm going to do Star Wars shapes. Like, I predict it's going to go one of two ways.
Mm-hmm.
So either I'm going to watch the movie and be, like, relatively apathetic about it. And be like, oh, it was okay. Yeah, there were good moments. Like, cool. Harrison Ford's old.
Yeah.
You know, like, all that. Or...
fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see. If it goes the fuck yeah route, like, for sure.
Well, it also depends on what it is. Star Wars Days moves around every year for Legoland, so you never know, like, what month it's going to be.
Yeah, it seems like there's very little notice.
And like, then... if it's April for BrickCon, like, that's not going to...
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see.
BrickCon will definitely take precedence.
There you go. One of those words.
Whatever. I'm not even drinking.
So, Star Wars.
Yeah. Star Wars.
You know, it is what it is.
But now we have comic bricks.
Comic bricks. Comic bricks is good.
BrickCon.
And like that's
BrickCon.
So going like to circle all the way back past the Star Wars. Like there is shit that like I see at comic bricks and I'm like, I didn't even know that was like a comic book. And that's fucking awesome. And like you sort of get to like geek out about like people's personal taste in a way. It's like
it's true because
it's like
you can pick anything for the category.
It's almost like they get to go like, okay, I'm a really good musician, and I'm gonna pick like a really good album, and I'm gonna do a cover of that in my own style, and like, so it's like you get to watch people like sort of like do like cover songs in a way.
It's actually literally doing a cover. Get it?
See what I did there?
I see what you did. But yeah, that's super fun. So I kind of like what you said too about. I guess I liked it, but I hadn't really thought about like how to articulate it. Everybody building in the same style, but same constraints, but different styles. Yeah.
Well, and it's like it's cool because it's like it's totally open to interpretation. You can do whatever you want.
Pick any comic.
You kind of have to be in this sort of small restricted world, but it's so big.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, it's like the comics have been around forever, and there's a billion comics, and you can do whatever comic you're into.
Right.
So, like, for me, like, I'm a dork, and I like Akira. So, like, my one that I did last year was totally Akira. And it's like...
and it was rad.
This is me. Like, this is what I'm into building. Like, this is my style.
Yeah.
Clearly, it was a little robot, like said.
Shocking.
Yeah, you know. So, yeah. Comic Bricks is cool. That's coming up. Decon's coming up. Bricks LA is coming up. BrickCon may or may not be coming up for me, and then fucking cycle around 12 months from now, BrickCon again. So it's rolling.
We need 12 months for our livers to recover from BrickCon.
Yeah, just man, like this year especially. Like I'm getting older now, and like my hangovers are fucking like terrible now. Like, oh man, and BrickCon in particular like has always been the party.
Like you don't have to do any of this stuff, of course, but
you don't have to be deviants.
Exactly.
But if you want to have a good time, clear.
Then we'll see you at the Maxwell.
If you want to hang out with me and the other fucking weird dudes, I'll see you at 3 a.m. on Saturday. And yeah. So it's also like for me, it's like it's such a weird magical time because now it's become this like annual tradition of I get to see these people who I only see once a year
Mm-hmm.
in an environment and in a time span where it's like, I don't. This has to be exactly like what like little kids going to Disneyland felt like, where they're like, the magic is real. Like it's that same kind of thing where I'm just like, fuck yeah, this is gonna be awesome, and all we're gonna do is party and Lego and like
BrickCon,
more Lego and more party and like.
BrickCon is the Disneyland for adults.
Oh, totally. And it's like you're just like every time like so BrickCon is 4 days. It's Thursday, Friday, which are the private days, and then Saturday, Sunday, which are the public days. And I always try to time it to like maximize my time. So I get in late like Wednesday nights. So you've got, essentially 4 days of like 4 nights
Full
of
days, yeah.
Yeah, you got 4 full days and 4 nights of like just hanging out with people and fucking geeking out. So every time I'm like, holy shit, I've only gotten like 4 hours of sleep. I need to go back to the hotel and like take a nap so I don't fucking collapse. I like lay down to like chill out or whatever, and I'm like, I could be hanging out with people right now. I could be building Lego right now. Like, oh man, I'm missing out on so much shit. And you're just like, fuck, like, okay, I'm back at it. Like, it's...
When you describe it like that, it totally sounds like a little kid.
Oh, totally. It's like trying to go to sleep on Christmas night. Like,
You can't.
fucking Santa Claus is
It's
in
like-
the other room.
It's the one day you wake up at like 4 a.m. and you're like, I'm ready.
Well, and like, there's
Let's
no,
go.
and everybody's on board. Like, that's the weird thing. So it's
Yeah.
not just you.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm very much a little kid at heart, and I do the same thing. Like, I hate going to sleep, and I'm always trying to build Lego and all that shit. But it's like, you gotta go work tomorrow. Fucking like, the wife is trying to go to sleep, or like whatever, or shit has to happen. You have all these responsibilities. Where it's
Adult.
like, you go to BrickCon, and it's like, give me your adult card. Here's your magical little Lego kitty card. Just fucking go have fun. And so you're just like off and about and like, I don't know. It's rad. It's rad.
It is rad.
It's literally like, and I don't want to offend anybody, but like, it's my fucking favorite holiday. It's like going to BrickCon. It's like, it's 4 days of seeing people who I literally quite like see once a year who live in other countries, other parts of the world, like all this stuff, and you're like, we're gonna have these fucking magical 4 days together of just hanging out and Legoing and like just doing things. Like my favorite fucking convention activity is not any of the like official activities. It's just everybody ends up getting Lego, right?
Yeah.
Because like they give you Lego, they give you this shit, and you buy stuff. There's vendors,
Yep.
there's fucking deals. There's always Lego stores by the convention. So you always end up with this like miscellaneous Lego. And then you hang out with the dudes and your friends, and you're all like, let's all just fuck around with the Lego together.
Dump the Lego on the table.
And literally, it's like, it's that magical moment of like being a little kid and playing Legos with your friends, like on the floor together.
Yep.
It's the same thing, except we're all like 30-year-olds.
Right.
And,
Or whatever age.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's like, every year it fucking happens. And that's like my favorite part of the convention, by far. It's like,
And no one's telling you to go to bed. You can stay up all night and actually play with the Lego.
yeah. Well, and like literally you can make this noise all night long,
And
and
nobody
like
cares.
yeah, nobody
It's
cares.
fine.
It's like really like you sort of like you're like yeah, fuck yeah. Like there have been plenty of times where like we always like do this like a bachelor party rock and roll shit where we cram a bunch of dudes in a hotel, and like at some point like somebody passes out and there's fucking 4 other people in the room just like going to town on the Lego, and like that's just what you do. It's like it's this rad moment of just like pure nerdom.
It's magical.
It
It's
is magical. It sounds a little convoluted to say that, but like no joke. Like,
It is.
go to
It
a
is.
fucking convention. If this is at all appealing to you, like you don't understand the real magic. Like it's
I'm kind of
it's
excited
good.
about that at Bricks LA this year because last year, it was our first year.
Yeah, yeah.
So we didn't have the hotel situation set up. So like this year we have the hotel situation set up. Not that I'm trying to steal that from another convention or anything, but like
For sure.
I don't know if nothing will ever have BrickCon magic. It's its own special magic. We can all agree on that.
I think it's a universal magic though, because every convention I've been to, so like even Bricks LA, like so Bricks LA, we didn't stay in a hotel, we stayed at Jeff's house. So it was me.
Well, you guys had your own little situation.
we had our own little fucking like bachelor Lego bro time like thing where it was like me, Mario, Zach, and Jeff, all fucking hanging out in his garage, which is his Lego Ratory, which is amazing. That's a Keith Goldman term.
Okay.
I totally stole that. And like we're all just fucking like geeking out on Lego hardcore, and you're like, yes, this is what it's all about. And like that was the coolest thing to me, because like I sort of like I don't want to say like conned my friends into doing this, but I was like, drive down, like we'll fucking put on a display and it'll be cool. And like, my whole pitch to them was like, even if the convention nobody shows up and it's total bullshit, like, you're gonna get to spend a weekend with me and Jeff, and we're just gonna fucking geek out.
Yeah.
And like, that's all you really need, and then everything else is like added bonus.
Yeah.
Like, so it's cool. It's cool, and I'm. If I can make it happen, I would go to more conventions just to get like more of that. Like, and Simon's whole thing is that like, just like try to hang out with as many people as possible and like fucking like soak it up and like get that from people.
It's amazing.
And it's
soak up the magic.
It is cool. It is cool for sure. It's a weird episode, I guess.
Well, anyway.
Clearly, I'm a child.
I'm excited to have some of that maybe in Bricks LA this year.
Definitely.
This year, 2016 in January.
It's gonna happen.
Because we get to stay up all night and play with Lego because we're at the hotel. And it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and there's a setup day, so it's like
there's a setup day.
Less of a rush, less of
Believe me, I wanted there to be a set. It just didn't work out the first time.
Totally. So I'm excited. I'm definitely
I'm excited
excited.
too. And Saturday night party. You'll find out about that if you sign up. Woo! I should talk to you about that. Also, I feel like we need to make like an American showing here. Like, you should rearrange your schedule.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I also feel like this is the
BrickCon.
one convention where I don't really feel pressured to like bring like a gigantic suitcase full of models because I can do
but just being there, like an American being, like, you know what I mean?
So there's this weird thing that I've noticed that's happened as I've gotten older in the Lego scene is like if you're old school, even if you haven't been in the scene, like, and you haven't been doing anything, you roll in, you brought nothing, you brought no builds, you pull a Bryce McGloin. Everybody goes, oh, fuck, you're here.
Yep.
And you're like, yeah, that's it. So, like, I feel like this is the one where I'm going to pull that, where it's like, I don't feel the pressure to be like, I need to bring a award-winning display, and it has to fucking move and have all these things, and I got to fucking wrangle 12 dudes to all put in on it. And, like, I just feel like if I just show up, like, I'm just going to have a great time. So, it's I'm hoping that if I can make it happen, it'll be like the low-pressure, cool Canadian convention for me, which I'm sure it will be if I go.
Yeah.
And fucking
But
Aaron,
also,
Aaron, where are you, dude? You missed out on BrickCon. Maybe I'll make it happen.
But also thanks to everybody for putting this together because I'm really excited.
Oh, totally.
Like you said, good people.
Totally. Yeah.
Lee and John and everybody.
Fuck yeah. And Victoria's rad. Like, I've been to Vancouver once. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been.
They have a really cool thing. So they have like a permanent farmers market, which is like buildings and whatnot. It's all surrounded by water, so you can take the aqua taxi, which is like a little boat. It just drives you around. And it's like $3 or whatever. And apparently right now, America is doing well for Canada.
For the dollars.
Yeah. So even though buying Lego in Canada is really expensive, maybe it'll balance out.
It kind of balances out. It also makes the rooms really affordable for the convention.
And beer.
And beer.
Other things, you know.
The bricks and the beer?
Over there.
Oh, thanks. Andrew. All right, well, thanks for sharing all of your stuff and like.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to talk about that, dude?
Sure, I guess.
Wait, it's another robot.
It's another robot. Shockingly enough, I'm a child of the '80s. There was a video game called Metal Storm. It came out for the OG Nintendo, and it was cool because you could be this old dude, and then you could reverse gravity, so it'd be like, whoop, and you fucking walk on the ceiling and stuff. So this is a little Metal Storm. He's a little robot. There's also sort of shitty instructions like these guys. So if you want to build this and you're really into Nintendo or Metal Storm,
he's got so much character for such a little build.
Dude, it's such a great fucking video game. It's like I'm not a big video game person, but like, so like, NES happened, and I sort of missed the boat on NES until I was like much older. Mm-hmm. So like Mario, Zelda, like all that like classic shit that people are like, oh, Nintendo. I'm like, I can sort of, it's like I appreciate it for what it is. Fucking robots, I'm in. Gravity flipping robots fighting other robots with like weird 8-bit music.
You're in.
Fully in. And it holds like a weird nostalgic place in my heart. So I wanted to build a little Metal Storm. So there you go.
Well, I like it.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your shitty instructions.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Internet. That one's for you.
So come to conventions and see shitty things like this.
Yeah. Bricks LA, fucking make it happen. It's coming up soon.
And you can come see us.
Yeah.
And we're super awesome.
We'll be there, and it'll be awesome. And you can bring some shit you built out of Lego. We'll put it
just
on.
come play.
Yeah, or just hang out.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Make some new friends.
Exactly.
Thanks for being on the show, Andrew.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
like
for being our first
this
guest.
whole thing happened because of Lego. Like we met through Lego. So like, single gentlemen, you can meet girls through Lego. It's not impossible.
There are a few of us.
You're not single, but there are girls.
I meant girls.
Yeah, and like, there's just cool people. So fucking come hang out. Bricks LA's rad. Try to make it to Canada. If that's like way too soon for your very fast moving life, I'll see you in October, maybe.
Yeah.
Seattle.
That's a definite.
I could tell you the best place to eat breakfast in Seattle.
You're actually gonna tell?
No,
them?
fuck no. I don't want to give it away. You have to find me in Seattle, and if you're like, Andrew, I saw you on the internet and you talked about the best breakfast. Maybe we'll go to Bloody Mary or something. I don't know. So.
You like Bloody Marys? It's like my thing.
The lifeblood. It's the lifeblood.
How come we've never had a Bloody Mary?
We'll talk about this after the show. About where to go.
But like, we have to go talk about drinks, apparently.
And secret Lego Bloody Mary things.
Apparently.
You know.
So thanks for watching Brick Break. Go watch Bricks and Beer with Andrew. Not necessarily on a schedule. Well, we're not on a schedule either yet, but whatever.
Yeah, it's so, like, forewarning, like, Bricks and Beer is inconsistent and amateur at best. It's basically
it's awesome. It's awesome.
I might have another one coming up soon, but I'm gonna make no promises. So if you go watch the other ones, fucking awesome. If you don't, all good too. Like, that's fine.
All right, so you should come back and do, because we also, in case you don't know for some reason, on this channel we also do another show called Toy Break, where we kind of talk about regular mass market toys, indie toys, all sorts of rad stuff that we collect. But you're kind of a good Transformers guy to have.
I'm kind of a toy geek. Yeah, I go heavy in the transforming robots.
We
Shocking enough.
Weird, right?
Yeah,
Robots.
yeah.
Andrew.
Yeah, robots. Fucking like I
wanna
like
do a whole
toys. I like
robot
toys in
episode with
general.
you.
Ooh, that'd be good.
What do you think?
I'm down.
All right,
I'm game.
we're doing it.
I'm game. Cool.
And more beer. Might do. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that.
See, it all goes together. It's all one happy thing. All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.
Later,
Bye.
Internet.